Hello, Phoenix J back, y'all, with another one. Get in, get in, get in. Gather your snacks, gather your drinks, y'all. It is Fragrance Friday, and I am back unpacking another fragrance, talking about the notes, talking about the history, getting into the popularity of this fragrance that has had the girls in a chokehold for the past several years. So it's time to talk about Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Baccarat Rouge 540, y'all. I just came back from this amazing concert. Duran de Bernard, if you don't know, get on the train. Fabulous. Always an amazing show. And you know I gotta love y'all because it is every bit of 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm hype. I'm excited. We gotta talk about it because I told y'all I promised some dupes. Promised some dupes. But before we get into the dupes, we're going to talk about this composition. And before we get into this composition, we're going to talk about some history. I'm all about fragrance as a form of expression. And I'm just big on knowledge. The more I know about things, the more excited I get and the more meaning that they have for me. So, Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is something that excites me because I just love what it takes to compose and create these fragrances and how many of them come from lived experiences or knowledge, learning something new, or just regular everyday life. So before he created his brand, MFK, as it's known, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, before he created MFK, he was a perfumer, a nose, someone who specialized in composition, in taking notes and creating unique fragrance experiences. He had done this for other brands. He's worked with some of the biggest brands, some of the brands that y'all all know, Dior, Gucci. And even some brands that were huge in the 90s and early 2000s, Nina Ricci, Narcisco Rodriguez. Like, he has helped create some of the most amazing fragrances. But the one that kicked this whole journey off for him, the one that was like, okay, sir, you've done your big one. Welcome, welcome. We all want to know what else you can do. That was for Jean Paul Gaultier, a fragrance that is still in circulation and still pretty popular. Lamel. Lamel was created by Mr. Francis K. back in 1995, and ever since then he's been on the up and up. I just want y'all to listen to this list of fragrances. I actually have some in my collection, and as I was learning more about like what all he has created, I said, "Oh my gosh, I have some of these, and I've smelled a lot of these, and this man is on a whole nother level." So he's also worked with Versace, Julia Has a Gun, Burberry, like I said, Jean Paul Gaultier. Listen to this. With Dior, he has helped formulate and create J'adore l'Or. This is the fragrance Rihanna's the face of. Sauvage Eau Forte. This is the fragrance Johnny Depp is the face of. This was within the past few years. Dior Riviera, which is I've been told by one of our friends down in the comments there, Tabitha, I've been told about Dior Riviera being the perfect rose fig fragrance, and rose and fig are two of my favorite notes. So love that. One that came out this year, Miss Dior, the Essence. Y'all, I'm not a big fan of Miss Dior. It's just too floral. It's too much for me most of the time, and I'm just not the biggest fan of the Miss Dior composition. But that Miss Dior Essence, the blackberry note, this juicy blackberry. Oh my goodness. And then one I've got right here. This is from Roger and Galette. This is Fleur de Figure. This is another fig fragrance. That's literally why I got it. Was Fleur de Figure. It's figs and flowers. That's literally what it's giving, and it's nice. It's a lightweight, but it's got a really good musky green base to it. Fantastic fragrance. Also, this one. This was one of my favorite launches from last year from Burberry. Let's see if we can get in there on that. Burberry Her Intense. This is a beautiful fragrance with a wild strawberry note just out front, like very present. You get some great floral notes. This is truly a fruity floral. But I mean, he did his big one, and he has created a career um, of really like consistent great work. For Juliet Has a Gun, he's responsible for Lady Vengeance, beautiful black bottled fragrance, bold, vibrant. Also for Elizabeth Arden green tea, really popular fragrance. One I actually have seen quite a bit at the TJ Maxx. I actually have me a bottle around here somewhere that I got from the TJ Maxx. And so Mr. Francis K has been doing his big one. He has been on the fragrance game. But in 2015, everything shifted because he formulated and created the iconic fragrance Baccarat Rouge 540, the Eau de Parfum. And I want to talk a little bit about the history of this fragrance because these are some things I didn't know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes it so unique. It is a collaboration with Baccarat. And this is a fragrance that's inspired a ton by gold. That's why we get gold on the label. We get gold top here. You have a gorgeous red inlay there, but rouge being the red and gold being a huge part of the story, red and gold. So listen to this. This fragrance is inspired by the transformation of clear crystal when it's fused with 24 karat gold at 540 degrees Celsius. This is when red makes gold. Baccarat Rouge 540. It all makes sense. And they talk about the notes and describe them as auras. So with the fragrance, you have the air aura, which is hedione. I want to say a warm kind of florally note, but jasmine are the essences that you really pick up as far as the fragrance itself. Then you move into the fire aura, which you've got the spice of saffron, such a unique fragrance, such a unique note, very luxury. And then in the base, you've got these mineral auras that they are really referring to amber and its connection to cedarwood. Instantly, you get the lush, pretty uh, top notes, those air qualities, if you will, soft and floral, leaning into the saffron and this much more spicy base, but not overwhelmingly spicy. MFK's Baccarat Rouge 540 would, by today's standards, be considered a unisex fragrance for sure, and I'm sure he designed it that way. Those base notes coming in like a perfect amber. It is to me a fantastic amber fragrance. That is what I need people to understand about Baccarat Rouge 540. This is not your loud fragrance. It's not going to smell up an entire room. Even the extrait, which is stronger because there's an eau de parfum as well as an extrait version, extraits being at usually 40% oil. Even the extrait to me is strong but not overwhelming. This is really an elevated skin scent. It's a luxury skin scent. That's what it is. It is designed to sit close to the skin, and so I feel that a lot of people don't understand that in purchasing a bottle this size, which would retail for about $220. I mean, you're going to pay anywhere from $220 for a bottle up to $995 for a bottle of Baccarat Rouge 540, depending on the concentration and depending on the size. And you've got huge sizes in this, and you've got, like I said, Eau de Parfum as well as Extrait de Parfum. But on my journey, even when I got this fragrance and when I was truly accepting that I was a collector and my collection was probably at 50, 60 fragrances at that point, when I'd reached that point and I added Baccarat Rouge to my collection and started spraying it, as you can see, I do wear it. I do wear it. I love ambery fragrances, amber notes, jasmine notes. Those are some of my favorite saffron. This is a fragrance composed of so many of my favorite notes in fragrance. In particular, again, amber, jasmine, and saffron, which make up all three auras of this fragrance. It is just a spectacular skin scent. So, y'all, I thank you so much for joining in here. I know that I've held you for a minute, but I promise you it was so worth it. You're going to save so many coins. So many coins. But I guess I'm going to get up out of here. I love y'all. I will talk to you soon. I'll smell you later, as a matter of fact. I'll smell you later. Peace. Phoenix J out.